well, can't hear me. So I'm assuming that's what she means by no sound yet. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Catherine, maybe it's something to do with the sound your end? Yeah, sound seems fine. Oh, phew. One less thing to panic about. Hi, Karen. Hi, Wilma. I was about to go into panic. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I was talking about chocolate. I mean, at least I'm not eating the chocolate. I'm only talking about it at the moment. But yes, I do feel the kids should have bought me, at least a couple of Easter eggs. The largest ones, obviously. Because if they're smaller, then they would need to buy me more, wouldn't they? But no Easter eggs this end. No chocolate. Mind you, it's a good thing. I know I mentioned it to some of you that I met last weekend. My son has got me on this super healthy drink. I mean, even the color looks super healthy. It's like this deep green, like sort of green, the one that you look at and you think there is no way I'm drinking that thing. And yeah, there you go. I've been drinking that for what now? It's been 7 days or 10 days, I'm not sure, every single morning. And just so that I don't sort of say later I drank it, he actually makes it for me. It's really sad. So he's got me drinking this super healthy thing. It tastes as horrible as it looks, actually, and smells. The supermarket ran out of eggs, Cecilia. Easter eggs. I mean, not normal eggs, but Easter eggs. Oh my, that's very sad. I'm wondering whether I need to go to the supermarket later today and make sure, I get a few before they run out completely, if they haven't already run out for that. But do you know what, Celia? They will probably come back on Monday when they open as a sale item. Well, I'm keeping fingers crossed. That's what happens. Do I feel any better for the green drink? No, not yet. Apparently, I need to give it at least a month. Apparently. I mean, for the green color it is and the horrible taste it is, I think it should have started working instantly, to be honest. But no, it's not doing anything at the moment. I don't know. We'll see. I've promised him I would give him a month. 1 month. 1 month of my life. That's not a lot, to be honest. So, yes, just to make him feel better that at least I'm trying, right? Okay, so I am going to start eventually, right? But this is a Facebook Live. I'm going to put it up on YouTube. So anyone watching on YouTube and is wondering why I'm waffling, it's just to let you know I'm reading some of the comments on Facebook and replying to them, because you won't see the comments and, you probably wonder, what is she going on about? So it's from the Facebook Live. I mean, having said that, I do tend to talk to myself anyway. But yeah, so I'll put the video on YouTube later today, hopefully. And we'll see. I don't know what time. I think it will just depend on how long it takes to download, sort of thing. Sometimes download happens very quickly. Other times download takes, no, not download, uploading it takes forever. So I'll have to see. Like I mentioned, this is the tag we were going to do. I have actually decided to change it a teeny tiny bit. So just because there's a lot happening on here, and I just feel that it will take us a long time to do like the 3 circles and all the dots that are on here, for example. So for me personally, I'm probably just going to use one of the rounds and put a bit of lace. I haven't sort of figured out how I'm going to play with it, so I'll talk it through as I'm sort of deciding. what I want to do, as to what's happening, what the noises in my head are telling me. Welcome to my to my inner head. So I'll talk it through, and then you decide what you want to do. For example, you may want to do like 3 of the partial circles, but I think I'm going to do just 1 circle, so I can get basically as many of the different things I've done on the card. I mean, I've got a bit of lace work, I've got a bit of grid work in there, just a bit of coloring. I mean, it's very simple ideas here, and it's if you're advanced, you can do the picot cutting. If you haven't tried picot cutting, I will talk it through, as well as if you want to skip the picot cutting, the little V's here, you can completely skip them. It will be up to you, as to what level you are at and what you want to do, what you want to leave out. You're free to do that. And also, depending on what plates you're using, you may decide, you want to do something totally different, and that is absolutely fine too. So what I've done on this one itself is I have cut the largest tag from the nested tags die. So I know that some of you use, for example, what's it called? You use the, the words are gone. You use the, sorry, you make it into a card rather than a tag. That's it. I was thinking about the words I need to use and I just couldn't, sorry. Hi Robin, hope you're feeling it. Well, your knee is not that ouchy. So I've cut the largest. I'm going to use for example, the large, I'm using, sorry. My brain has gone to, I was going to say coconut water, but no, it's not gone to coconut water. I don't know why I thought of coconut water, but there you go. I'm using rainbow parchment. You can use clear parchment if you wish, or if you want to do a smaller tag, you could still use the second smallest, for example, because the rounds, you could use it as a partial round, and that would be fine as well, with maybe a bit of lace going on the edge there. It's absolutely up to you as to what you decide. I'm going to go with the largest tag, and I'm going to I've got the Rose Garden from the Rainbow Parchment. So I'm going to go with colored parchment, because the original one, which is somewhere, the original one I did was on clear parchment with basically just designer paper at the back of that. It's been attached with brads through a sequence, because we can never have enough sequence, right? I mean, for me personally, definitely I cannot have enough sequence. So it's been attached with sequence. You can put the sequence, you can leave out the sequence. Last time I showed you to attach the sequence to the parchment using beads. I might use beads again, as I've used brads here, or I might, just depending on how long it takes, or I might just go with basically brads. We'll see, depending on time, as to what I attach it with. So that one there. I need to find my tags plate, Groovi plate. So where did I put that? I did start off very neat and tidy, and there we go. So tags plate, we're going to emboss. Now, which way did I cut it? I can't even remember. There you go. We're going to emboss. So if you're using colored parchment, you want to make sure that you have it gloss side up, the brighter, shiny, glossy side up, because that is the back of your work. So that on the front we have the nice white outlines. If you're just new and you haven't done this before, you want to make sure you can read Groovi the right way up. Yes, so you're on the right side of the plate. I'm going to attach that to the, not attach, I'm going to stick that down to the plate using Groovi tabs, and I'm just going to put that there. And it's always a good idea to rub your parchment with the tumble dryer sheet before you stick it down, so you don't get the waxy thing on the tumble dryer sheet all over your plate, which I obviously forget each and every single time. But seeing as I hadn't stuck this down straight anyway, it's easy enough to take it off and do that. So I am going to emboss the double outline to the double outline of the plate. It's not straight. It's not going to emboss the double outline. Hold on, I need my glasses on. No wonder I can't see anything. I haven't got the tag plate, so I have adopted for the oval plate. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, not everyone has the tag plate, and that's okay. Whatever you have, for me, you know, it's much more about just that I can get together with all of you for the afternoon, craft along, and actually pretty much make it up as I go along. Because although I do a tag beforehand, I know that every time I demo, what I started off with changes. Do you know, it's really weird. The tag has got smaller. I'll show you. Let me bring it closer, and this is why I'm fiddling. The tag has got smaller, I don't know if you can see that, than what's on the Groovi plate, and that's never happened before, so I don't know why that's happened. Can you see it's cut out smaller there? And that's why I'm wondering, how am I not being able to line it up? But now that explains it. I probably didn't, you know, put it in properly or something. I don't know. Or, yeah, it probably, the parchment, I didn't stick it down, so it probably missed the whole page as I was putting it through because I hadn't stuck it down. So it's cut smaller. So because it is I'm not going to get the double outline all the way around. So I'm just going to use the one outline for my tag. But on the original, you see I did use the double outline, and I glittered it between the double. But because this has missed along there, it's not going to work. So I'm just going to use the one outline, the inner outline, only because of the oopsie days. Oh, look, that's not the Groovi card, is it? Okay, so let's do this. Regarding the thing here, I'm just going to do, I think the inner one will be a nicer one to do, but I'm going to keep it consistent. So because I'm not doing the double outline here, I'm not going to do the double outline for that. I mean, I could, but I think I'm just going to keep it to one, just to keep everything sort of the same. So in my case, I'm going to do just this inner outline. And I'll try and keep looking up to make sure I'm staying on the screen. I think I need on my thingamajig, what's it called, on my mat, X marks the spot to try and stay in the middle. I'm going to move the tab so that I'm sticking it there, and it opens up the space there to finish going around and along there. There we go. So that's the base for my tag. I mean, it's gone a bit off center here because, like I said, I didn't cut it properly on the page. I hadn't stuck it down, so everything's just gone a bit off center. but I don't mind, you know, because I'm going to put a ribbon over there, and it's not going to matter. Okay, so what I was going to use is the what are they called? I don't remember what these are called. The floral rounds, friends, something, flower rounds, flower friends, something. There's 6 designs, and I don't think I'm going to get all 6 on one mat, but there you go. So we have got these 2, chamomile, marigold, and then we have daisy and cornflower, and we have, hold on, there is the 6th one hiding. Okay, we have primrose, and we have periwinkle. So, I mean, on the original tag here, I could not decide which flower I wanted. I was going to keep them all the same, but I couldn't decide. So basically, I went with 3 different designs, only because I have them. So if you don't have them, you know, it will look just as fantastic if you use the same design on all 3 circles. If you are doing 3 circles, like on this original card, I'm not doing 3 circles for this, because I don't want to feel I'm rushing through all the steps to try and minimize the time. Not because I'm in a hurry, but, you know, I feel that I want to take my time teaching you the various different things I've done on here. So I'd rather slow down and do it slowly than try and rush through putting so much on it. So I'm just going to use 1 circle. This is where, you know, I probably should have decided which circle I want to use, because I haven't thought about that so far. Which one did I use? So I have used on here, I have used periwinkle, so that's out. On this one, I have used cornflower, that is out. And I have used, which one is this one now? Oh, marigold. So I'm not going to use marigold. So let me use one from the other 3. And I think I'm going to go with this one here, daisy. But then I quite like this one as well, primrose. Primrose or daisy? Primrose or daisy? Primrose or daisy? Or there's even chamomile. Oh, decisions. I'm going to go with daisy. Okay. So I need my plate made, and who didn't put the inset plate out? That would be me. I don't have my inset plate. Hold on, I forgot about the inset plate. Yeah, talk amongst yourselves while I go grab my inset plate. I mean, I am here just grabbing it from the other side of the room. At least I know where it is, which is in the Groovi folder. Previously, before the folders, you know, to be honest, I would have had no clue where I would have put it. So at least now I know where I put things. Okay, which one had I said I was doing? I've forgotten which one I was going to do. Oh, daisy. There we go, daisy. So Groovi side up. And like I said, you know, I am thinking I am going to do just the 1 circle. But I know I mentioned to some of you that, well, no, I didn't mention it. I literally made the tag with it. I've got a little bit of lace here. So for the lace, what I had used was, whoopsie daisy, don't fall, was the border plates, the border grid plates here. Yeah, and some of you may have seen them, some of you may not have seen them. There is actually, let me just move this. there were 4 designs, so 2 in straight, 2 in diagonal. So there was, that's diagonal 2, that is straight 2. Where is straight 2? This is straight 2. This is somewhere diagonal 1 and straight 1. Yes, so there were 4 plates. You probably won't see all of them on screen. Will it be better if I put them this way? Probably. And there were books that went with it. So I just basically randomly picked a straight, the diagonal 2. If you have any of them will work, because the technique is exactly the same. It's just they give you different lace patterns when you work with them. So I'm just going to go with the one I had said I was going to use. And the straights and the diagonals will work hand in hand with your straight or diagonal basic grid, which is this one here. Now, if you don't have them as border grids, you can use your regular A5 square ones as well. That will be fine as well. Yes, because the holes are in exactly the same spacing as on the border grid. Okay, so I'm going to put that so that I don't lose it and then start looking for it somewhere else. And I'm going to put that so I don't drop them. So that's the one I'm going to use. But first, let's have a little play and see how we're going to position everything. So I bring in the inset. This is the plate I decided. This is, I'm going to do it as a circle. So I've got options. I can do it either lower there. Yeah. Or I can, I don't know. Do I want it central, for example? Or higher up? Do you see it? I can have a play and see how I want to position this. I'm thinking I might keep it simple and, well, not simple, so to speak, but I might keep it central, because what I'm thinking is then I can bring in the grid and I can have, this is the one I have used, for example, on the card, on the tag itself. So I could use, well, I am going to use the same one. So I could put it a bit there, along there, and then a little bit along there. So it will have 2 lace sort of panels going that way. The other option is, if I don't want them to go diagonal like this, I can have them going just on one side, sort of not through the middle, because that's the bit I would leave out, for example, because it would go underneath this way. So you've just got it sort of on the side, and I think that would look really pretty as well. And I think I'm quite going to go for that, because then I'm thinking, well, I have a lot of empty space here. So I'm thinking, if I take a section of it just a little bit there and just a little bit here, coming off here, that would be really nice. A bit like, you know, when we put washi tape. Is it washi tape or washi tape? I can't pronounce it. I'm not sure if I should pronounce it with an A, or the A becomes more of a O sort of sound. Am I making sense? Probably not. In my head it didn't make sense, so I won't be surprised if that did not make sense at all. But I think I quite like that, actually, and that's what I'm going to do. Once I've done that bit, then I'll decide if I want other strips of the lace design. Okay, so first with the circle. I'm not doing any embossing on here. If you want to do embossing like white work, you may want to emboss certain elements with your number 2 tool. I'm going to keep it super simple, and I'm just going to use the number 1 tool to emboss everything. And my tape's folded over. Let me unfold that. Okay, so am I in the middle? Middle-ish? So I'm just going to stick that down. there and stick that down there. I'm gonna give it another quick rub with, I mean, you know, usually I also tend to have my light wave on, but I know that previously when I tried with the light wave, the colors ended up being a bit wishy-washy and it wasn't as clear for you guys to see. So I'm not going to use the light wave, but at home if you have the light wave, definitely do use it, because it does make life so much easier and less stressful on the eyes. So using the number 2 tool, I'm just going to emboss the whole design. And do use your Groovi guard. My fingers are so dry. I just looked again. Now that's, I'm going to keep looking at that, aren't I? It's all the washing up. That's what it does. I think, you know, washing up is not a good idea. Neither is cooking. And what else isn't a good idea? Housework is not a good idea. All those cleaning products, they ruin your hands, don't they? So you can see, you know, I'm just going to go in there and emboss. It's really hot in the conservatory and my fingers are feeling all icky. So let me actually lean on here rather than using. A lot of the time I'm like this and my palm is sitting on there, but I think today is definitely a day I need my palm resting on the plastic of the Groovi guard. It's like super hot in here. I've got the windows open, but oh well. The main thing is we're together. It's a beautiful sunny day, even though it's hot. And it's a long weekend. So is anyone doing anything nice over the weekend? I'm not doing anything. My older sister is here at the moment, so it's really good because she's been going to mom at the care home, and tomorrow she flies to Japan for a few days. Now Japan is definitely on my bucket list to visit. So I'm kind of little teeny tiny bit envious that she's going and I'm not. But one day, definitely on my bucket list. I'm not really a traveler. I'm not one of those people who likes to, you know, who has the urge to go visit different countries. I'm really not. I don't like traveling. And but certain, like Japan is on my bucket list. What else? New Zealand. I'd love to go to New Zealand. Other than that, I'm thinking, is there anywhere else? Oh yes, Seychelles. I'd love to go to Seychelles. But then having said that, I'm not really a beach kind of person. So I'm not sure Seychelles would quite work for me. I would get bored quite quickly. Oh no, second weekend of COVID. Hope you're improving, Janet. Well, feeling better. Spending time with family. That's cool, Helen. Playing with you. I'm glad. I'm so glad you're playing with me and I'm not the only one playing here. I get to take a shower. That's good. I can imagine. Oh, what's a paint pump? I don't know what a paint pump is. Easter eggs, crispy. Oh, I love Krispy Kreme donuts. Yeah, see, Megan loves hunting for seashells as well. Sorry, I'm reading comments and not doing this. Megan, well, when she was younger, well, no, even now, if we go to the seaside, she loves looking for seashells. I don't like sand under my feet. I don't know why. I know it's supposed to be a very nice therapeutic kind of feeling and all that, but I get quite, I don't know, ickified. Is there a word like ickified? In my head, I don't know, my head just won't let me walk on sand. When I was younger, it was fine, but as I grow older, you know, things sort of more and more make me feel ew, if that makes sense. I mean, last year we went to Antigua, and if anyone goes to Antigua, be aware there is sand fleas. And yeah, I had enough for the whole family, because the rest of the family, they had them, but only tiny ones and not as many as I did. And they went massive. I think I probably got an allergic reaction to it. But yeah, if anyone ever thinks about going to Antigua, yeah, there's sand fleas. I didn't even know sand fleas, something like sand fleas existed, but they do. So there we go. There's the design for this. So what I'm thinking is, shall I do the lace first or shall I do the coloring first? I think I'm going to go with the coloring first, only because, you know, with the lace we're going to do perforating and embossing of the dots. Now when we have perforations, for example, what happens is, as we're doing other techniques, the perforation, most of like the coloring and things we do is on the back, and you know, the perforations rub against the back of your, well, just here, what's this part, back of your palm? No, back of the palm would be this, the side of your hand rubs on it, and for me I find that very irritating. You know, so for that reason I try and do as many of the things I can before I do my perforations, only because I don't like the feeling of those perforations rubbing against my hand. The Groovi guard would help, yes, to do that, but I think I've just got used to trying to get as much like the coloring at least done before I add anything else. So for that reason I'm going to do the coloring first. When I do the coloring, I am going to actually have the light wave on, because I can see a lot better when no, I can see a lot better to go right up to the outlines. Sorry, my head is all yeah, I was going to say gobbledygook, but I don't think there's a word gobbledygook, is there? I don't know. I don't even ask. It's not even worth. Hold on, let me turn the light wave first so it just doesn't glare at all of you as soon as I turn it on. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to use the Perga Colors Exclusive. Now, I know this is quite a large flower, and I may get streak marks in there as I'm coloring, but I'm not too worried about it, to be honest, because I'm just not. But you know, one of your options is to use, for the larger areas, you can use, for example, your pergoliners, B pencils, and blend if you wish, if you don't want streak marks. The other way is, I know that someone mentioned last time, is that when you're coloring, you can use kitchen towel to, you know, quickly rub over, or, you know, pick up the dots and things. But you have to do that while the pens are still wet to stop them from streaking. I haven't perfected that technique, to be honest. I just can't. seem to get my head around that, but I'm going to go with the streaks and things and hope for the best kind of thing. I'm just putting a few colors out because I'm not sure which colors I want to go with. I'll probably make up the rest as I go along. Okay, so those are my color options. Because I'm using the rose garden, for example, I'm going to go with this sort of colors, which sort of feature, except the yellow and, well, there is green, but it's not the green that's on the paper itself. I mean, if you wanted a green that was closer to the rose garden, then you would be thinking of using maybe number 30, but I find number 30 quite a dark color. I absolutely love this green, the number 16, and actually my number 16 is running out. I just love that green, so I seem to use that green for everything. The other color I have is number 4. I have pulled out number 1, number 5, and sort of a soft pink, which is 8. So I'm thinking, which color do I want? I think I'm going to use a few of, I know those are leaves, so all that's going to be green, and I might want another green because there's different types of greens there. So I'm going to pull out number 17 because it's different leaves and things. So I'm going to try and keep them sort of, bring in a few colors. I'm going to, okay, elimination time. I can't use all of them. I've only got 2 flowers here. So what 2 am I going to sort of throw out kind of thing? I think I'm going to not put the yellow. So I'm going to get rid of the yellow. For my flower centers, I'll stick to green. I'm going to go with, see, that's a nice soft color. I quite like that, and it will make a nice change. But then I really like pink. Okay, the peach is going. So now I have 2 pinks. I'll make 1 flower darker, 1 flower lighter, or both the same. I don't know. I think, let me start with 1. I'm going to start with the number 8, and I'm going to do the bigger one in the lighter color. So you can use the thin side or you can use the fatter side. I quite like the thin side, and like I said, I'm not going to be worrying too much about the streaks. So I'm just going to go in there and start coloring. So on the back, so sorry, I should have probably said that first. If you're just starting, I'm coloring on the back. And keep turning your parchment so it's comfortable as you're coloring. The thing is that you know, if with the coloring with the pergoliners, because they are sort of translucent colors, as soon as you go over a previously colored line, you get a slightly darker shade, and this is when the streaks seem to appear. So if you're going to rub with a kitchen towel as you're coloring before it dries, you can sort of, you know, almost not see the streaks, but I can't work that fast, to be honest, to be able to dab the extra color off. So now I just accept imperfections, because in my head those imperfections actually makes the work a little bit more fun to look at. Well, I like to believe that. It makes me feel better actually when I believe that. So it stops me from, you know, thinking, okay, I'm going to throw this out now. I'm going to turn that around, show you that. There you go. That's a really soft color. I think that is a bit too soft a color. Because my green is going to really pop against this pink. So now I'm thinking, do I put another? No, do you know what? It's too soft. Okay, I'm back to square one. I'm going to go over. I'm going to have them both the same pink now. I'm using number 5. So I'm going to go over this. Because the green is quite a strong color compared to this pink, I want my pink to really pop. I mean, also because I like pink, and if I'm going to put pink on my work, it has to pop. There we go. That's a nice color. That's such a happy color. Do you know what I did this morning? And you know, I know some of you probably won't be surprised, but guess who bought some more sequins? And it's not my fault. Someone happened to say they bought sequins earlier this week. And that was a bad idea, saying to me they bought sequins. Because then in my head, I needed more sequins. Yes, I know I don't need more sequins. Of course I know I don't need more sequins. But I bought some more. But you know how I justified it this time? I don't know if some of you, I know a lot of you have seen the embroidery needle case I put on yesterday that I finished doing. And on there's a few sequins stitched and beads stitched and all that. So I just justified it as in, you know, I needed sequins for the embroidery. I know, I didn't. But I did. Honest, I did. And now I can keep the sequins for the embroidery separate to the sequins for the cards. Yes, they're exactly the same sequence. Exactly the same. Yeah. Oh, it was you, Jackie. See, I told you, you shouldn't have said that to me. Because this is what happens. When someone says they've bought beads or sequins, then I feel, oh, that sounds fun. I need more too. So there we go. And I'll put it on the black in a minute and show you. There's like almost faint vein lines where it's streaked going across the petals. But like I said, I'm not going to worry too much about it. If I really did not want them, then definitely pergoliners and blending it with the dorso oil is the best way to go to avoid streaks. Do you know what? I love my hair this color. I've tried to get it this color before and it's never gone because I had dark hair and it never got to this stage. I mean, it's gone wrong a few times. It's turned orange, it's turned red, but it's never gone to this color. In the end, the poor hairdresser said if I just keep wanting to try, she's going to retire, which was a very sad thought, to be honest. And I thought, no, we can't have that now, can we? So I'm going to put this and show you there. I mean, you don't really see it much there, but if I put something white underneath, you'll be able to see the few streaks that are there. I don't know if it will pick it up. If if I hold it maybe at an angle or something. I don't know. Can you see the few streaks that are there? I don't mind. Like I said, you know, I really don't mind. It's a bit hard for me to know whether you can see it as yet or not, because my laptop picks up the images quite late. The video shows up like a lot of seconds, sort of on delay sort of thing. So okay, to finish coloring that, I'm going to do my centers in green. So my flower center, I'm going to do green, and some of these leaves, which one should I have the darker, the lighter? I like this green, so I'm going to have majority of these in this green because I like it. You know, I just love doing line art and sitting here and coloring it in. I find it very therapeutic. And yet give me a coloring book to sit there and color the pages, and I can't do that. I just don't have the patience for that. But give me even a large piece of parchment and with the image on it, and I'll quite happily sit there and color that. But in a coloring book, nope. No patience. I think it's coming along. This is the sort of the quick bit. The grid work will take a bit longer to do. There's 2 stages. I don't know, have any of you used the border grids? Oh, I know some of you would have used it when we did them in the workshops. They have been out for a very long time now, and you know, for me, I use them a lot. But if you don't have the border grids, you can use any of the grids that have been designed by Josie, because you have the embossing and the perforations on the same plate. With the grids I'm using today, you have to use the basic plate separately, whereas the ones Josie have designed, at least, you know, you've got the embossed dots and the perforations on the same plate. It does make things a lot simpler. So you can use those. You'll have to choose a pattern that is either use partial, if you're using any of Josie's, use partial of the grid design, because some of them are quite wide, aren't they? And depending on whether you're doing 3 circles of these, whether you would have enough space to put the whole grid pattern. So it's something you'd have to play with and see how it fits best. Whereas with the border grids, for example, they're really thin grid designs. I'm very sniffly today. I think I'm going to put it down to hay fever. And I think this little bit's here as well on this design. Have I gone off screen? I can feel myself moving further and further and further away. There we go. How's that? And the mat, let's put it on the mat and have a look. There we go. That is very pretty. I like those colors. That is definitely a me pink kind of color. Okay, although on black that really does not look. That pink just gets lost on a black mat. But if I was to put that on the corresponding rainbow parchment paper, there you go. That picks it up so much nicer. Yeah. Okay, shall I give everyone a few minutes to just catch up? How is everyone doing? Are they putting 3 circles? Because if you're putting 3 circles, then you definitely need a bit more time to have a little catch up. Yeah, let me just give you a couple of minutes, and let me grab a tissue as well. I will be back. I'm super organized, aren't I? Getting up 10 billion times. Sorry, I am back. Okay. Shall I continue? You think? I didn't hear from anyone to say they need a couple of minutes or not. So I'm assuming everyone is good and I can continue with the next bit. I want to put the grids. So if you're using the border grids, for example, you're going to need the border plate mate. So let me grab a border plate mate. Here we go. And the pattern here is the one I'm going to use. Like I said, you know, earlier, we have options. I think now that the pattern is there, it might be easier to see as to where we want to go. So I could put it at an angle like this across here. This is the design I'm using. So I could put it like this and then like this. The other option I had opted for was this way, which is actually, I really like that. And I think that is what I want to go with, because then I'm thinking I can put a little bit here and a little bit there. So all the way along there, it will make sense as I'm doing it. You may want to have just the one section if you want. It's absolutely up to you. It will also depend on what grid you are using, for example, you know, because if it's one of the wider lace patterns, for example, then I don't know how much space you will have depending on where you put your floral design. So I'm going to start with the perforating first. I don't know how many of you are using this particular grid, but I don't know how to work this, because I do get the feeling that a lot of you may be using different grid designs, and I don't know how many of you do have this particular one. But the idea, and I'm not sure how to explain this, but the idea was that this is our lace design. They can be either used as your perforation. Those holes are either your perforation holes or your emboss holes. It's, you know, and then once you've done one or the other, you put it on your basic grid and you do the opposite. So if these were embossed, in between the areas, you would then perforate, for example. There are II books explaining how they work, and lots of you know, ways of working each border. For example, I've done books, the II books for them, and although, sorry, the II books are just based on the straight number 1 grid and diagonal number 1 grid. Yeah, I'm using the diagonal number 2 grid here. So there is no II book for the number 2 grids, but the concept is the same. So, you know, I think it will make more sense as I do it. If you have got Josie's grids, then I'm assuming you've used them before and you're okay with those. So they don't need explaining, but I think I'm just really mixing things up here. and confusing you. So the best way forward really would be for me to just show you what I'm trying to say in a very rubbish way. So like I said, I'm going to do the perforations first. It doesn't matter whether you do perforations first or you do the embossing first. I like to do, if I can do perforations first, I usually do the perforations because then when I turn it around to do the emboss work, I can use a tack pin. I can use pins to line up the work on the other grid, which again I will show as we do it. So what I'm going to do is I need the bold 1 needle tool, and I'm going to perforate, but I'm not going to perforate the whole design because part of this design is embossed. So if I bring the tag in, so this is the one I was using, the hexagon one there, and you can see I have only got the perforations in those little sections in there, and the rest of the design has been embossed. So basically, if it's this particular pattern that you're using, I have just perforated the hexagons in here, for example. And when you're perforating, make sure you're over the super foam and not over your embossing. Perforating is from the front, which I should have set first, and those bits. So just the hexagon and this sort of elongated hexagon that I'm going to perforate. Everything else I am going to emboss. This, you know, if you have got other grids that you're using, have a look at them and see what you want to perforate and what you want to emboss. And again, you know, because the holes are already there for the grid work, you know, it just makes it so much easier, and you don't need to worry about the whole counting process. So what I'm doing is I'm stopping here where the line is, and then I am going to continue down here, although I think I may need to turn it around, otherwise it's not going to show on the screen. I'm going to turn it this way just so that the whole thing stays on screen. So it was the inside bit here. I love that sound. I'm just saying sorry. I probably shouldn't have it go so quiet, should I? But I do like that sound. I'm just enjoying the sound. So I've got the whole thing there. And I know you probably can't see it at the moment. I wonder if I brighten it, if it will show up more. Did it show up more by brightening it? Maybe if I press it down, it might. Yeah, I hope it does show up. I think, you know, because I'm using the grid, I do need the light wave on because I just see the holes better, that's all. So there we go. So it's just the inner things. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off. And I'm going to turn it around because the rest of the design that we didn't use, I am going to emboss that. But I need to line up the holes over the perforations. And for that, I am going to use the tack pins to help me line it up sort of, you know, as accurately as I can. Hold on, I can't get them out of the ziplock. There we go. So what I'm going to do is, I've turned it to the back. I'm going to use a pin there. And I'm going to use a pin there. And have a look, and then stick that down. Not before sticking it down, I do need to stick it down, so I'm going to stick that down. So now we're on the back of the work. I'm going to take those off, and I'm ready to emboss those dots. So when we emboss those dots, you're going to use the number 2 tool. So I'm going to put this back on here, and using the number 2 tool, the dots we did not use, we're going to just go over them and emboss those. And this is the start of the lace design. So, you know, if you haven't quite, started picot cutting in your journey, that's absolutely fine, because you could leave these as they are, and they're going to look very pretty even without cutting them out. Everyone doing okay? And can I fit? No, I'm not going to try and avoid going on the outline. I always think I'm going to get one more dot, and then usually I can't, and then I think I should have probably stopped when I told myself to stop. It's too tempting. I mean, even now this is really tempting, and I know. There you go. I put it in, and I'm just going to hope for the best, to be honest. Everyone doing okay? Yeah, when I'm doing grid work, I always use pins because it just helps lining up so much easier. Even with Josie's grids, for example, her grid plates, if I can do perforations first, I will always opt for doing those, because then I know I can use the pins to help me line up with the embossing. So there we go, got to the end there. Now, I mean, depending on what designs you're using, for example, you know, it will vary on how much you have left to do. But just to show you the main, the tag itself, the original tag. So there we go. So on the original tag, we can see we have double outline here or in the hexagon, and when we turn that around, you can see that is only one. Yes, so this is where your basic grid comes in. Not only are we going to use it to put dots in there, we need to give this some oomph. That's the best way I can explain it. Some more solidity in there. So I want to put another sort of round of dots around there. So I'm going to shift it to the basic grid. I'm going to use the border grid itself because we've got, this is the diagonal grid. We need to use the basic diagonal grid. Yes, so if you've used any of the borders on the straight grid, you're going to use the basic straight grid, if that makes sense. The other thing is, and before, I forget to, to say, when I've embossed these dots, I have actually embossed the dots in the floral circles from the front. Yeah. So in here, we're going to do them on the back, but then we're going to turn the project around and do the dots on there from the front, because what that will do is it will push the parchment around the main floral area inside, sort of, yeah, inside, and it will make the actual design pop more, if you see what that means, because that will appear like it's, well, it is sticking out, right? Because that's been embossed and the dots have been debossed. They're done from the front. So I feel that works a lot better. If we did this dots from the back, there is so many dots here that it would compete with the floral design itself. And I didn't want the dots to be so overpowering against the floral design, so I've done them from the front. It is absolutely up to you. If you prefer to do them from the back, you can do them from the back. It is personal preference, so have a think about which side you would want to do your dots. I'm going to do them on the back, but first let's finish this border here. So I'm going to swap that border for the diagonal basic border here, and again I am going to use the pins to line it up. Like I said, if you don't have the diagonal border here, you can use your A4 square one, the diagonal one, or the straight, depending on which grid you use. So I'm going to use the pins once more to just help me line up. Now with the diagonal, there is that extra thing where you have to line it up so that, because I don't know if you can see, it goes zigzaggy on the top here and then it's straight along the other end. Yes, so along here it's straight and it's zigzaggy this way. So when you're lining up on this, for example, if I try and line it up this way, it is not going to match because our straights are going down this way, and sorry, this is where the straight is, so I need to make sure it is this way around. Yeah, now this will probably, because we've already got one set of dots, it should just slot in, it's not going to move. But if you can't get it to line up, I mean, for me, it's lined up even without the need of pins because we've already got dots. So those embossed dots are sitting into the groove. But if you didn't have that, once again, you would just use, for example, your pins like that, stick it down, and we're ready to go with the inside embossed. And I'm just going to emboss on the inside of the hexagons, of the large hexagons. So there we go. So number 2 tool, Groovi guard. And how are we doing for time? 3 o'clock, okay. So like I said, I'm just going to do these ones in here. Just to fill it out a little bit. For me, it was too empty without them. There we go. So if you're not going to, for example, picot cut these, I'm going to picot cut them personally, but if you're not going to be picot cutting them, you can use those to emboss in there. You can use the grid to emboss in there to fill them in. Yeah, that's it. Fill them in. So you can just emboss them if you don't want to picot cut. So the other end. And now, you know, I've almost finished the one side, and I'm wondering, do I want to put the other two strips that I thought well, that I wanted to, like I said in the beginning, that I might put shorter strips. I think they would look very pretty, but I'll turn it around and see what it looks like and then decide. I love the rainbow parchment, and I don't know if I quite like it the way it is and the parchment showing, or whether I do want to put another couple of strips. So I'm going to turn that round, put it on the backing and have a look. So I've got that, and I think, can you see, if let me put it this way, it might be better this way to show you. See, I quite like that. It's really elegant, it's really soft and very pretty, and for me, I know I'm going to put sequins along there, but I want to experiment. That's a basic, you know, bottom line, to be honest. I want to experiment. And I think if I put a short strip there and maybe another short strip just there, I want to know what that looks like. If you see what I mean, in my head, I think I know what it looks like, but I am not too sure whether it is going to look like how I'm seeing it in my head. So I'm going to go ahead and it's just going to be like not the full strip, just a little bit here and a little bit there, or maybe another one here and one there. I think that might be better, one on this side and one there, and then I can put sequins on these corners. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to personally do that. You may not want to do that. So anyone who does not want to do that, I am going to show you the next stage. And you can go ahead and do that, because I don't know what all of you are working on, whether you're doing 3 rounds, 1 round, or what, I don't know. But for those who are not putting the three, no, actually, do you know what? I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is, I've just changed my mind. I am going to put the 3 strips, but I'm going to do it afterwards. I'm going to work with all of you on putting the dots in here, because once I start a bit, I know I will want to finish. So I'm going to put the dots on here. Again, you have options. You can put the dots, I'm doing them on the front. Your choice whether you're going to do them on the front or on the back. I'm going to do them on the front. Your choice. I was going to say something. Oh yeah, you're going to use either the border grid, the basic border grid, or if you want to fill the whole round in sort of one go, then use the A5, because you can see this one here, it stops there. So I'm going to have to eventually move it up to fit the whole thing. I'm just going to go with that because I've already got it on here. So, but if you don't want to be moving your if you don't want to move your plate design, sorry, your parchment on your plate, then, you know, use the A5 square one if you have it. Yeah, or even the A6 baby one, because they do the basic grids in a few sizes. I think it will even fit on your A6 if you have the A6 grid. So I have used the diagonal. Now, whenever we've got like shapes like flowers and sort of irregular shapes with no straight corner edges as such, the diagonal grid always fills the space a lot nicer than the straight grid. The straight grid I use if I'm doing filling in, you know, of things. I'll use the straight grid if I've got, for example, squares or rectangles. But when I've got so many irregular shapes here in this design, I prefer to use the diagonal grid. So that's why I said diagonal for this. But if you've got only the straight, that will work too. So, you know, use that. So you're just filling in all the holes, and like I said, I'm doing this from the front. And actually the plate I've chosen here of the floral design was the one that has, I think, the most space around to fill in. So it may take a little bit. I mean, it's very quick to do, but some of the plates of these floral rounds, there's not that much space to fill. So they're a lot quicker to do. It's okay. It's I'm not in any particular hurry to go anywhere, and if you need to go, then you know that's okay, because I will put this on YouTube and it will be on this page anyway for you to watch later as well. So I know with it being Easter sort of weekend, I know I understand there's a lot of family gatherings and things happening. Easter eggs to eat, chocolate to eat, ice cream to eat. I have to say my new obsession, more than chocolate, is ice cream. I just crave ice cream. Maybe the green drink my son is trying to get me to drink, well, he is making me drink, is making me crave ice cream. So I can blame my ice cream habit on him. Right? Of course, I was craving ice cream even before I started drinking this horrid thing. I shouldn't really complain because apparently it's very healthy for me. Oh dear, I will be a while. Sorry, I should have looked at the design a bit more closely. Just as well I opted for just the one round. Can you imagine how long we would be here putting the dots in? Well, especially me. And if none of you chose this plate, you'd all be waiting for me to finish. To be honest, to be fair, not honest, to be fair, there's not much else left to do. I mean, for me, yes, I want to put those extra strips in, a bit of glitter, and we're done. We're really done with this design. It was a very quick design. It probably doesn't look like it's something so quick to do, but it was a very quick one to do because there was no embossing involved in it. I think most time goes in embossing, and if there is a lot of perforating and cutting, but because the design is already on the grids, it wasn't like we need to count the dots, and like traditionally when we did grid work we needed to count the design out. For this we didn't. The design was already there for us, so it makes like doing everything so much quicker. I can't see. Do you know what I'm going to do? It's so bright in here that I cannot see this. So just bear with me 2 seconds, and I'm going to shift my plate, and actually you guys might see it better as well. There we go. Now isn't that better? Ferrero Rocher ice cream lollies. I didn't know you get those. I need those in my life. I love Ferrero Rocher. I didn't even know that those existed in ice cream form. Well, now I don't see the dots at all. Well, that didn't work, did it? Okay, I'm going back to square one. Light box it is, but without the mat. Yeah, that, I'm hoping that is better. They are yummy. Oh, I just read, sorry, I wasn't asking, I wasn't saying they're yummy because I haven't tasted. It was supposed to be me repeating you, Helen, sorry. Oh, I'm sure they're yummy. I'm going to have to look those up. And which stores I can get them in. I love Ferrero Rocher. Again, that's one chocolate I cannot eat just one or two of. Mind you, there's no chocolate I can eat just one or two of. Do you know, it's a lot clearer now without the super foam underneath. I can see the dots, even though it's really bright in here. I can see the dots a lot better now. I don't, when I'm embossing, to be honest, when I'm embossing dots on the grid, I don't always do it over the super foam. I find I get better impressions when I'm straight on the light wave, but the super foam, it gives the cushioning that my wrist needs. So I'm sort of trying to get used to using the super foam underneath, because pressing like when you're doing a lot of dots, it can be harsh on your wrist. Well, on my wrist anyway, which are fragile anyway. So the super foam just gives it that cushioning that I need, but I just couldn't see. On a dull day, it's fine, it works great, I can see through it. But today I couldn't see these dots. And I should really be wearing my wrist thing. We'll get there, honest. I should have so picked a different design. I mean, if you finish, this is probably a bit like watching paint dry. Not that I have watched paint dry. I mean, why do we even say watching paint dry? I mean, who has sat there watching paint dry to make it into a phrase? I'm sure there's history behind the phrase. I just want to know who sat there watching paint dry. I mean, why would they have? Okay, I'm just slowing down a bit just to see where I can get a dot in. Honestly, we will get there. I'm feeling bad now. I chose this design. Oh, my hand is really icky. I have been thinking about, you know, what we can do next month. I mean, I've only been thinking about what shall we do, not like we will do. I don't know if anyone has any ideas as to anything in particular they want to like sort of learn in sort of a very quick way. Not that I rush things. Well, I hope I'm not rushing things, but I can't show too many techniques in a few hours, you know. So sometimes it has to be one technique kind of thing at a time. But if there's anything in particular that you guys would like to see or play with or experiment with, then, you know, definitely let me know. I'm just going, before I take it off, I'm just making sure there isn't anywhere that has a huge massive gap that I could do with a dot in. So I'm going to take that off. Thanks, Robin, but I do feel bad. But yeah, but then it's a pretty pattern, right? It is a pretty pattern, so I think it will be worth it. It will be worth it. And maybe for future, when I do things like this, you want to have a second design on the go. So when I'm taking too long doing something, you can play on the side. I think this will be worth it. But yes, any particular techniques that you feel you want to experiment with, play with, let me know. And I can try and, you know, come up with ideas for that. It will, on my part, it will always be on a tag. As to, you know, for you, you may want to make it into a card or anything. That's absolutely up to you. And, you know, as I was like, you know, I had a never ever clear up your workspace ever, because what happens is that you can never find what you need after that. And I cleared up and I put the tags away, the dies. Could I find where I put them? No, but I did find a lot of other die tags from Clarity, different shapes, which I have never used. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should just make a change from this shape to one of those shapes, only just so I can use the tags, to be honest. A gem? Yeah, we can do a gem. Have you seen the video with the gem that we did as the on one of the tags? It was a while back. I think it was tag 2 or something like that. And we did gems on that tag. Have you seen those? If you go on the page, if you haven't, if you go on the page and look at the video section, there is gems on there. But I'll definitely put that down, and we can. I love doing gems, so I just need an excuse to do them again, to be honest. But we'll use different plates this time. That sounds good to me. I'm not sure what plates we'll use, but we will use different plates. Are we there? I think we're there. Yeah, I'm going to call that one done. And if I put that on the mat, I think this will give me a better idea as to whether, can you see, I mean, even because the space was so big, it was a really large space, even by doing it from the front, you know, so it's not competing with the floral design, it is pretty obvious there's a lot of dots there. Whereas on the original tag, the spaces were smaller, so it, you know, you could see the floral design more. Whereas on this tag, there is a lot more open space than on these tags. One of the other things, you know, if you have any of the floral rounds, instead of doing the dots, you can perforate and cut those sections out, because that will make it look like lace as well, which is another way. So in a way, I'm really glad for this design I have done the dots from the front, because if they were from the back, and I'll show you, oh, it probably you won't see it because it picks up the color of the parchment, but if those dots were really white on the front, they would compete with the outlines of you know, those. They will appear a lot whiter than the outlines of the floral design. So, you know, I'm glad I did them from the front. Okay, like I said, I'm going to put another couple of strips of this lace design here and here, because I think I want to put something else happening on it. So I'm just going to move this, bring in my grid again, my border grid and my thing. I mean, if you're done with yours, if you do not want to add any extra strips, to be honest, the only thing left to do on here is, if you like glitter, glitter it up, and you can mount it on your backing using brads or sequins and brads. So I'm going to do a little bit here, and I'm, you know, I've got the hexagon here, so this time maybe I'll start here with this shape rather than the hexagon. So, and depending on how much space I want, I think I'll leave about that much space. Try and get it as straight as I can. Stick that down. So I'll stick it there. Let me just bring it a bit lower. There we go. So I'm just thinking so I can get those dots of emboss in there. Rather than end with just perforations, I think I would quite like to have a few embossed dots. So 1 needle 2 for my, and on the front for the perforations. So just the middle section. And how far do I want to go? I am not sure. If I stop there, that's quite short. I definitely need to go. I think I'm going to go right up to this one here. Only because I can, and I think it gives it a nice length. So just up to this one here. There we go. So I'm going to turn that round. Change that for this. Oh no, I'm not changing that, sorry. Brain gone to sleep. Place that over that. And my pins, just to help me line it up. So one there, one there. And then the dots. Or, see, now I'm just thinking, I need to stop thinking. Make me stop thinking. Someone make my head stop thinking. You can tell I don't want to go, do I? I don't want to finish this live. I love like just playing, and you know, with no as such idea of where I'm going. It's just playing. So I'm going to put the second row of dots. I quite like that. The length it is. I'm going to put the second row of dots. I'll do it afterwards because I've got this plate already on here. I might as well, you know, continue using that before I swap it for the other plate. So what I was saying is I'm thinking, shall I just put another one here up to about there as opposed to coming this way? That's what I was thinking. But no, I think I'm going to stick to that side. So because this one is this side, I'm going to go on the opposite side on here. And about there, I think I will go. I don't know why, but it seems like a good place. And just line it up a bit. Stick that down. I will. You will need, I don't know if you saw on, can you see over here where it just stops? For me to, because I'm picot cutting that, I'm going to need the 2-needle tool to fill that gap between those two holes so that I can cut around it. So if you know, if you need to get your 2-needle tool out and you're waiting for me, then, well, if you're waiting for me, you may want to get your 2-needle tool out. So do I go right up to the circle or not? I'm not sure if I want to go right up to the circle. But at the same time, I don't want that to be the same length as that. I'm going to go right up to the circle. I'm trying to vary the lengths of these, the 2 strips. I'll do this bit as well. I might as well. There we go. That will definitely vary the length. And I'm going to do the dots, and then I'll put it back on the other grid to fill it out. So pin there. Pin there. Tape there. And tape somewhere here. And oopsie daisy. So just around there. I'm really hoping this is going to look okay. I mean, it looked really pretty, that I should have probably just left it as it was, because it did look very pretty. I think sometimes it's about knowing when to stop. Helen, I have got Ferrero Rocher ice cream going round and round in my head. Look what you've done now. And shops are closed tomorrow. That's so sad. Right, there we go, 2 strips. So now I am going to remove this, bring the other grid in, line it up. And like I said, because the dots are already embossed, I don't really need pins. They will just sit in there. So I'm not going to use the pins to reline them, because they act like Velcro, don't they? Once you've got something embossed to line it up, it just sits in the groove. So that's one. And then bring this one in, turn it round. Just make sure it's locks in place. Around there and around these. Oopsie daisy. I don't think I lined it up properly, she says. It will just lock in place, she says, having not lined it properly herself. Pins are definitely a safer way to go. It's okay. Okay. I think this is probably going to be one of the weirdest designs I have done. I'm going to move that. I'm going to bring the mat in just to show you. There you go. Yeah, see, I think that looks a bit odd. maybe I should have stopped it over there. I don't know, but it's okay. It's pretty. I mean, you know, if I had more time, I would probably add another couple of strips up here or something to make them a slightly different. What is the number on the border plate? Do you mean this border plate? It is, I don't know if you can see it. It's GROGG 4035514. I'm wondering if that's the one you think. I did put it in the ones I've used with the code. I've put them on the blurb for the event, so it should be there. Yeah. Yeah, so if I had more time, for example, well, I do have more time, but I'm not going to do that now. I would probably put another couple here. I don't know, just to break it. I don't know. I really don't know. Sorry. I think by the time I mount it and everything, it should be okay. It will be fine. I'm going to move these. So you can continue in, perforating over the light box if you prefer. I mean, there's very little to perforate with your 2-needle tool. It's just this little bit here. Let me cut that. So do you see, because I want to picot cut in this area here, I need to just create perforations coming here. So I've got somewhere to cut into here, and then there's a little bit here, basically where they're meeting the circle. Now the spacing is a bit like, it's not even spacing along there to where it meets, but do you know what? It is okay. All's good. And just a bit there. Okay. Right. We're ready to picot cut that, and I'm using scissors. So I think I explained this earlier. The scissors, I know this is how we were taught in the 2 fingers this way, curved down, and you know, you would hold the parchment, you'd put it in here and just the tips in, and as you cut, a little twist. For me, my hand just wobbles too much. I cannot hold it like this, so I prefer to hold with the curve up, and I usually have these 2 fingers, yeah, my finger and my thumb, because that's how I prefer to hold them. If you've got the burger cutters, they're just like tweezers. You're just going to pinch them. As to whether you prefer with your burger cutters the point down or point up, it is something you're going to play with and decide, you know, which way you prefer. I'm going to leave this little bit first. I'm going to show you on the larger area because it'll be easier for me to show you on that. I'll come back to that in a minute. So like I said, I prefer curve up and putting just the very tips into the holes. I'm not digging into those holes, just sort of sitting my scissors in there, and as I'm cutting, I'm twisting ever so gently towards my left. I'm right-handed, so I'm twisting slightly to the left. If you're left-handed, I'm assuming you would go the other way. But once you've done your first cut, thereafter, all your twists, if you're going to twist your wrist, they're going to be towards the previous cut. The reason being, so if I went the other way, I would start breaking into those holes. Well, I would risk breaking into those holes, and I don't want to. So if you're going to twist, it's always towards your previous cut. Now, some of you may find that you don't need to twist, and that is absolutely okay. You know, some of you, I think, prefer putting the tweezers, the cutters or the scissors, the tips in, dropping the scissors down, and as you cut, giving it a little twist. I don't drop my scissors. I don't find that comfortable, so I don't do that. So, you know, you are going to have a little play and decide what works for you. Try different ways. What I did forget to say is you're always cutting over the waist. So your scissors are always going to be over the waist. So the waist is this bit, you know, anything that's going to fall out is your waist. So the scissors are always sitting over the top of the bit that falls out. Yeah, so you're going to cut, turn it round. You're always turning your parchment around, so your scissors are always, always, always over the waist, which is the bit that will fall out. Now, to save us time, and also so we're not handling the parchment so much, you will find it a lot easier to, for example, cut all the holes that go in the same direction at the same time. Oh, look, a teeny bit there with the 2-needle tool that it needed doing. So I'm just going to come back and just perforate in there. Yes, so when I turn it round, sorry, this little bit here as well that I've missed out. So when I turn it round along there, all these go in the same direction. So I'm going to do all of those at the same time. I'm giving my wrist a little twist towards the previous cut. To be honest, I don't always twist my wrist. Sometimes I can get, you know, the picos happening without twisting it. I don't know why, but for me, it really depends on a day-to-day basis as to what's working for me. So can you see I'm not turning it every single time. I'm doing all the ones in that direction at the same time. Like I said, it stops you handling the parchment too much. So this is the final side on here. So there we go. That's all of them fallen out. Let's move these on the side. Yeah. So now I'm going to do the others. And this time I'm going to do all of them that go in the same direction at the same time. It just makes it just that much quicker as well, rather than for each and every single hole to keep turning it. This does make it quicker. So this side here. Now I'm thinking, do I want to add glitter to this? I mean, I know I always add glitter on everything. I love glitter. I quite like it the way it is, and I know that's really weird me saying that, because I do love glitter. I think on this one I'm going to leave the glitter out. No, actually I'm not. I am going to put the glitter. Sorry, I say this. Do you know, when I'm preparing various cards and things, when I'm making cards, I say, no, I'm not going to use any glitter. I'm going to keep it the way it is because it's very pretty the way it is. It doesn't need glitter. Not everything needs glitter. And then as soon as I'm like, I've finished the actual card making bit, I look at it and I'll think, yeah, I need to put glitter. A lot of the time, you know, it really does not need glitter. It looks pretty just the way it is. But I just feel I like sparkle. I like sparkle. And parchment looks so nice with glitter on it. Just my opinion. I know some of you really do not like glitter. I just love sparkle. Anything shiny and sparkly. There is a, I don't know, some of you, I don't know if you get them in other countries, the drink J2O, J02, J2O. Is it J2O? I think so. I think it's J2O. It's like a fruit drink in a bottle. And we get various different flavors. Look, I forgot to do this side. We get various different flavors, but there's one raspberry and something, and that looks like it's got sparkle in it, like mica powder. I'm hoping it's not mica powder because, to be honest, that would not be very healthy. But it's got something that's shimmery, shiny in there, and it looks so pretty. Not one of my favorite flavors, but who will order it just for the sparkle? Yeah, I think you guessed right. I just love looking at that, the swirls and everything just happening on that drink. I know it's a very sad way to, but yeah, there you go. You can just get stuff for glitter content. Okay, there we go. I am going to put glitter, but I am going to cheat with my glitter. I'm going to use a quickie glue pen like I did last time. And you know, you can use your sticky ink and mapping pen. I'm just going to use a quickie glue pen, and I am going to use my super staticky glitter, not the Perga glitter, which is nice and static free. So if you do not like glitter but like the look of glitter, definitely get yourself, if you haven't already, the Perga glitter, because that is static free. And you know, you're not going to get it clinging on everything. The glitter I'm going to use is going to be it's really old glitter, so I'm using, sorry, a quickie glue pen. Yeah, only because it's quick and saves me looking for my mapping pen. And hopefully those holders will be in stock very soon for the mapping pens, except it may need to be a mapping pen because my quickie glue pen is refusing to work. Sorry, let's have a little scribble and see if I can get it to work. Oh, there we go. Thank goodness. Because I would have to go hunting for my mapping pen. So hopefully the holders will be in stock in a couple of weeks. And you know, now I have to say, if you've got very fine, delicate lines that you want to add with glitter, that you want to add glitter to, no, I'm saying it wrong, aren't I? That you want to put glitter on, then the mapping pen is definitely the best way to go, because it will give you really fine, delicate lines that this quickie glue pen just does not do. It comes out super thick and you're not going to get nice, pretty, soft, so not soft, like delicate lines. So, you know, depending on the look you want, you're going to decide whether you're going to use your mapping pen or not. For me, everything I'm doing on this card itself, it doesn't really have anything super delicate on it that I want fine lines. I mean, the circle here would look a lot nicer with the fine mapping pen line, but you know, even if I use the mapping pen for this circle, for example, I know my hand is not steady enough to give me a perfect circle. So by the time I go over the outline and or miss a little bit, it's not going to come out as delicate in my case, because I'm trying to do here just go over the circle. And does anyone find to go round on to draw over a circle the hardest thing to do? I really struggle with that. So if I get a thick yucky outline with this quickie glue pen for my circle, I'm not bothered, because when I put glitter on it, it's just going to be thicker in places with glitter. And like I said, for me, I can never have enough glitter. So I'm not going to stress too much about, you know, some places where I've got super thick lines. I think I'm more stressed about my stomach making rumbling sounds, which I'm hoping no one can hear. I think I've been all the way around. Just check. I'm going to add, I'm going to add a bit of glitter. I'm going to add the glitter to this before I want to put it around the tag as well. Otherwise I'm going to get my hand all over it and make a mess. So like I said, I'm going to use some really old glitter, and this is super staticky, so it's going to get stuck on absolutely everything in a minute. Look at I'll show you my glitter pot. This is my, again, happy pot. Look at that. Yeah, I went through a phase of just keeping on buying glitter, and this is what I ended up with, which is very sad. I know I've got a very sad life, to be honest, but a happy one. Sad but happy. Contradiction, yes. But these things do make me happy. So I'm just going to run it. And the advantage of this pot is that is all I need to do. And I'm just going to tap off the extra in there. But you will see it's like super staticky. Can you see how it's just all clung to everything on there? Yeah. Let me tap off the extra. And this glitter is going to find its way all the way around the house, all over the carpet, all over the floor, all over the clothes and blankets and everything, because it is super staticky. I'm okay with it. And I'm going to add a bit on the tag itself. If you've got the double outlines, then put your glue, I can't pronounce it, glue, in the double outline. No, I give up trying to pronounce that. I think if the kids heard that, they would have a nice giggle over my pronunciation there. I mean, this is a very wibbly wobbly line here, because I cannot get it straight. It is super wibbly wobbly. Now I'm thinking the circle was easier to do. Where did okay, I don't want to touch that end because there's glue that end. And I'm going to put a bit along here. Wow, it's a bit more than a bit. It just went completely everywhere. Never mind, let's color the whole thing in. Yeah. I think I'm going to add some glitter before I go any further, because otherwise I'm gonna have to put my sleeve over the where some of the, or can I? No, I'm not going to risk it. Now which side do I hold it? Hold on. I need to hold it this side. So glue, no, glitter, not glue, glitter. And there we go. Let's tap off the, wow, as much as excess can be tapped off. This glitter actually gets, like literally, I go to sleep and there's glitter on my pillow the next day, which I am absolutely okay with, but that is so wibbly wobbly. I probably spent longer doing the glitter than I did doing anything else. Okay. Can you use mica powder, Carol? I have absolutely no idea, but I'm pretty sure you would be able to. You would just need the right base to rub the glitter powder, right? Do you normally put glitter powder, sorry, do you normally put mica powder with glue? I'm not sure, but I'm sure you could. Do you know what, have I got mica powder somewhere? No, you wouldn't put it on glue, would it? You would need the, what's the base that people use for mica powder? Because wouldn't the glue make the mica powder you would need to apply with a brush or something, right? It would make the brush all go gluey. Look at that. Even my brush is nice, pretty and glittery now. This is how much glitter that it's shedding. Okay, you know what? To be honest, it's not going to come out. It's just really sparkly, that's all. It's just staticky. But I'm okay with that. Rub that on the floor. And I'm going to put that there. Put this here. And I'm going to put that there. And there we go. Look at that. That's what it looks like so far. Now choices. Am I stitching a bead on, or am I going to use brads? I think I'm going to opt for brads rather than beads. Okay, I didn't know you could use with glue mica powder. I didn't use Pergamano sticky ink today. I've just used a quickie glue pen, Linda. But normally I do use the sticky ink because it gives the, the Pergamano sticky ink gives really delicate lines. Can I just, I know, I've shown it so many times before, but I've got to do this every single time because I like doing this. And I'll show you, look at these pretty flowers. My new sequins, look at them, they're so pretty. Isn't that cute? Yeah, so that's my new acquisition. Wow, that's a big word for me. Well done, Tina. Yeah, those little, they're the cutest flower, and I will show you another flower. Now, it's a really bad idea to mix your sequins like I have, because when you're trying to find 3 of the same color and you can't find them anymore, it is very frustrating. Don't do it. I do. I know. Every time I get new sequins, I say I'm not going to mix it. 2 days later, I'm mixing it, and then I can never find. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? How pretty is that? I'm wondering if that will work actually. I'm going to see. Yeah, I think that's the sequence that I am going to use today because I think that's a pretty sequence. On this tag, I've used the flower one I showed you just now. This one here. Yeah, so on that tag, that's the one I've used. But on this one, I quite like this flower one. The only thing is I'm not sure about that color. So now I'm not sure that that is the one I want anymore. And I'm thinking this one. No, I don't want that one. This is where everyone starts logging out because I'm just taking way too long trying to decide what I want. That's pretty. I like that. Which one? Okay, which one? This one or this one? The flower or the round? The flower or the round? If I put... Except now I can't obviously find a third flower. There we go, third flower. Flower or the round? I quite like those flowers. Except that was a different shade now. See, the little flower ones that I've got on there at the moment, they came in different colors. And I threw them in this big box. And now I can never find the same shades. And oh, it's very frustrating when you can't find the same shade. Because I quite like this darker one. And I can't see it anywhere. Oh, here's one more of the darker one. Do I want a green one? Do I want a green one? The green one's pretty too. Sorry. I am trying, honest. I like the green one actually. I need one more green. I'm going with green. I am going with green. Decision made. Green. Otherwise I'll be here forever looking for that darker pink. Yes, a bread will go through it. Okay, so breads. So here's my backing paper. I'm going to put that there and I'm going to make my holes. So I'm just going to line it up and make sure that it's all good there. Using either the one needle tool. I can't find the tool to make holes with. So what I'm going to do is let me decide first where I want them. So I want maybe, because there's a bigger space here, I'm going to put maybe 2 there and 1. Yeah, that should do. I'm overthinking here. So I'm going to make my holes with the one needle tool. Now those holes are not big enough, so I'm going to have to make them bigger. And I know the white breads are at the moment out of stock. Hopefully they will be in stock soon, but I'm going to go with the white ones because that's what I have on my table at the moment. So like I said, the holes are not big enough for my tag, so I'm just going to use my number 1 tool and just make that hole bigger. And I'm going to push in. No, it's not going to work that way. I'm going to do it this way. Find the hole and there we go. Yeah, so it's gone through. Turn it around, open it up. And then I'm going to line that. Mind you, they're really tiny, the flowers. By the time you put a brad in, maybe a bead would have been a better idea because the brad, can you see it's super huge compared to the little sequin. That's okay. No, I was trying to not make the hole bigger because I was being lazy, but it didn't work. It needed a bigger hole. So, you know, I know I use my tool that I poke holes with a lot, but if you don't have like a pokey tool, you can just do it with your one needle tool and use your number 1 tool from your starter kit to make your hole bigger, like I have here. So can you see this? With the one needle I did, it's not big enough, so just with the one, just make that bigger. There we go. Right, let's turn this over and press those down, make sure they're nice and flat. And I'm just going to, because we've used that, I need to just cover the back, and I've cut another tag out, and I'm just going to stick that over the back. So I'm just going to run my tape runner around here. Oopsie daisy, let's stay on the tag, that would help. And just around here. There we go, that should be enough. And then just to get them together, I'm just going to hold them, oopsie daisy, on the side and just sort of on both sides, just hold them before I press down, just to make sure. No, even then I didn't get it right. I haven't pressed it, hopefully it should come. Don't press it instantly in case you don't get it. The top is pressed, but if you press it instantly, then it's very hard to get it off, to line it up. There we go. Yeah. And the last bit is my ribbon. So I've got the pink ribbon here. I'm just going to thread it through and just create a little loop. There we go. Let's trim that a little bit, I think. And here we go. So we have that tag. So this is this one here, and this was the original there. Same plates, but a completely different look. Seriously, there's glitter everywhere on here. But yeah, completely different look using the same plates. Yeah, I hope you know, you guys enjoyed that, and that I don't know, sorry, I'm rubbing glitter off. I got distracted there. I've got glitter everywhere. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that. I look forward to seeing what you have created with yours, and I will upload this today and put it on YouTube as well. But I mean, you know, if not YouTube, it will be on this page as soon as I log out just now. So yeah, thank you. Oh, thank you, Dawn. I'm glad you enjoyed, all of you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me. Next month, like I said, I have no idea what plates. I know that some of you have suggested a gem, so we will definitely do a gem. I'll dig through my plates and see what plates I want to use to create the gem. I'm not quite sure as yet what plates I want to use, but I'll try and do that this week, so that, you know, if any of you want to order it from Clarity, you've got plenty of time to do that, and hopefully it will reach you before the next next session, which will be the second Saturday. Again, I have forgotten to look up the dates. So hopefully, you know, I will get around to doing that this week. But thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I won't forget the Ferrero Rocher ice cream. I'm going to get that. I'm going to actually go have a look just now and see if I can order it. Oh, I'm glad we managed to pass your time for the afternoon, Janet, especially down with COVID. 13th May? I have no idea. Thank you. Thank you, Deborah and Helen. Yes, 13th May. All right. Well, thank you. I will read the comments later, and if there's any questions and things, pop them down on there, and I will reply to them either later tonight or tomorrow, but I will get around to it at some point. Yeah? Thank you, everyone. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll catch up with you all in a month's time. Lots of love. Bye.